In this video, I want to share with you how I learned how to spot toxic friendships, situations, and energy, and how you can protect your peace before it costs you your self-worth. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie. I'm glad you're here. And today we're going to talk all about red flags. How you notice them, how I learned to spot toxic friends, situations, and energy, and how we can learn what we tolerate and what we are ignoring sometimes. And without further talking, I would say we just get right into it. The first thing I can tell you is start with your gut. You always know first, and your gut will tell you when something is off. If something feels off to you, it probably is, and red flags often start as tiny gut feelings we brush off and ignore completely. And I can tell you, you've heard that a lot already, your body knows a lot of things before your brain is ready to admit it. So listen to your body and see if something feels off, or see if something gives you a weird feeling, and most of the time that feeling is right. Sometimes it's just you being excited or anxious, but most of the time when your body starts turning against something, or you always get a weird feeling and something feels off and you're not quite sure what it is, start listening to your body and start looking into the situation in which you feel that feeling all the time, or the person with whom you are when you feel that feeling, and start listening to your body when it screams at you, because sometimes our brain is just not ready to admit something, even though it should have. And into that, you yourself play a huge role, because your brain is basically you, and you are the person that kind of doesn't want to accept that. As I said, listen to your gut, but also listen to the rest of your body. Do you feel drained after seeing someone? Is your energy completely gone? Do you overthink everything you say when you are around them or after you met them? I can tell you that's most of the time your nervous system screaming, this isn't safe, this person is not for you. Because when somebody is draining your energy and you always feel worse after seeing them, the person is not for you. And if you're always overthinking if they got this right, or if you said something dumb, for some people it's just a condition of overthinking, but if you're just overthinking with that one person, please notice that red flag. Because most of the time your red flags are your boundaries being disrespected. And it's also okay to outgrow your friendships that shrink you. For example, I had a friend in high school and we got along very, very well. She was one of my closest friends, and after our graduation I think we were friends for one more year, and then I got together with my current boyfriend, and I noticed how much she drains my energy and how negative I felt about myself when I was with her. And I noticed that because I felt completely different when I was with my boyfriend. He's a very supporting and loving person, and he always tries to boost my confidence up, and I noticed a huge difference between those two people that were important in my life. And then I realized I've outgrown this friend a lot, and that's also because my boundaries and my values changed, and I had a lot more self-love after meeting my boyfriend, because he helped me to gain more confidence, which is a whole nother topic. But that's how I noticed that that friend isn't for me, and that my body was screaming at me all the damn time, because I always felt drained after meeting up with her. I always felt absolutely bad about myself when I left her place, and then we basically just outgrew each other. We aren't friends anymore, we don't even talk with each other anymore, and that's totally fine. It's okay to outgrow friends. I'm gonna make a whole other video about that topic because I think it deserves a whole video, but you're allowed to stick to your boundaries, and you're allowed to end situations, friendships, or also your work environment when you feel like it's not for you and you don't feel your best while you're there. Some red flags I noticed a lot that are not for me, and I also know are common red flags. If the person constantly tries to compete with you, you get a boyfriend, they get a boyfriend, and always tell you that their boyfriend is way better than yours. Grades are also a good example. If you're still in high school and you have a friend that always has to rub their grade under your nose when they got something better, or they got a new car, a new bike, and they have to rub it under your nose that you're still driving your old car. This is a huge red flag, because your friends should be happy for you and not start competing with you, if you ask me. If they make subtle jabs that sound like jokes. I told you about my friend. This is what she did with me. She joked around, but on my part, and the jokes she thought were funny were always hurting me. She always made jokes on my part and on my behalf, and it wasn't fun at all for me. It was fun for her, but not for me, and that was also what brought my confidence and my self-worth down a lot. So if people make that, stop them right away and don't accept that, first of all. Second of all, kick them out of your life, because you don't need people who A, compete with you, and B, make those jabs and jokes on your behalf, because you are way better than that and you are worth more than that. Friends or people that disappear when you need support. I went through a breakup and I could count on 2 friends while I was going through it, and others were just not there. They disappeared till I got better, and then they came back into my life. When I was younger, I didn't realize, but now looking back, they just needed me to show up when it benefited them, which is also another red flag. When they only text and call you when they can benefit from you or when they need something from you. I hate to break it to you, but those aren't friends. They just know that you can help them and that they can benefit from you, and you don't ask questions and you just do it. So please look out for that. And the last thing that I noticed in my toxic friendships a lot is when they leave you feeling anxious or guilty for no real reason. For example, when I didn't show up to help them, because I always showed up to help them, I felt very, very guilty when I didn't for one time. I always showed up for them. They never showed really up for me, and I was the one feeling guilty because I couldn't come or couldn't help them, which is not the way to go, I can tell you, because it's okay if you're not there for your friends all the time, because sometimes you have other stuff to do and friends are there and they should accept it. My best friend from college, she lives 1.5 hours away from me, so sometimes I didn't go to things she had set up because I said to her, I'm on my way 3 hours, I love you very, very much, but I'm on the road more than I'm at your gathering. And she completely understood. This is one of the most green flag friends I have, and I have another friend which is a great example. She always hypes me up, she always supports me. When I tell her something I did for work or I did for college, she is on me, and she basically always is on my side, helping me decide things and always tries to do what's the best for me. And I don't say only get friends that hype you up. Sometimes you also need a friend that gets you down to earth if you're up and going, but your friends are there to support you and not drag your energy, only want to hear from you when they need something. And also this whole comparing themselves with you game, it's very childish and you don't need that in your life. And I, for myself, think friendships are there to be excited for one another, to hype each other up, to be there when the other person needs you, and not to drag each other down. When you're at a concert with another friend and this one friend is always going on about how you weren't going to the concert with them, or that you're always at concerts without them, and isn't excited that you could go to that concert because they know you love the artist, that should ring a bell, because that's not a very healthy friendship, because they make you feel guilt for a moment where you should feel a lot of joy, because concerts are there for enjoying them. And if you have always in the back of your head, oh no, XYZ is mad because I got to the concert but not with her, with the other friend who loves the artist as well, I can tell you, either talk to that person and tell them that you don't want that and that you want to enjoy the concert, and if they wanted to go with you they could have asked, or cut that friend out, because that kind of seems like they can't be happy for you, that you enjoy your time and you can go to concerts, and it's also a little bit grabby on their part because you are allowed to have other friends. And then there are some red flags in special environments, for example work, school, friend groups, and I think those are red flags that you can sense a lot as well. If you can't be yourself without being judged, red flag. If you're walking on eggshells constantly, red flag. If growth is punished or jealousy runs deep, it's a red flag. If you can't dress how you want to dress, I mean appropriately and for school guidelines, red flag. And if they always try to find a reason to get to you or to tell you that something is off, red flag. I could go on and on with that list, but basically, if anything at work or at school or with your friend groups feels off, think about it for more than 2 seconds, because if something feels off, as I said in the beginning, there may be something that really is off. So think about it and you will notice red flags a lot more. But what I have to say is that red flags is not always loud. Some toxicity is soft and subtle because some people are super kind but can still be not good for your mental health. It's about how you feel being around them and not how nice they act when they are around you. Some people have this thing about them that they are so kind to you, but in a way that you feel insecure, threatened, kind of dumb, and your self-worth goes down. I don't know how they do it. I only met one of those people one time, and I can tell you it's not fun because they are so nice and so kind, but they still manage to drag you down to a level where you don't want to be, and that's not fun. Feel a little bit stupid because you think, okay, but this person is so nice to me, but they're treating me kind of weird, but they're nice. So maybe I'm the problem, and I can tell you most of the time you're not. They just can act very, very good and they can pretend to be nice when in reality they're coming around the corner and drag your self-worth a lot. So watch out for those people. And I don't mean overthink nice people, because there are a lot of nice people and I'm not a person that expects bad things from anyone, but some people just play nice. So please look out for that, at least a teeny bit, because there are people that are very good at that. But if we're all honest, we've all had moments where we weren't the healthiest versions of ourselves and we had our own red flags too, which we should own, because I need to say it's okay if we aren't the healthiest version of ourselves, but healing means noticing when you're the drama and when you're the red flag and doing better the next time. You can outgrow who you were and who you used to be without shame, and if you notice that you are the red flag in a situation and you notice it in the situation, you can also talk about it and say, oh, I'm sorry, that was a red flag. I didn't mean to gaslight you, compare myself to you that much, make it a competition, and say sorry and exit the conversation and kind of watch out for your own red flags. Because if we only notice the red flags about others and think we are the purest, kindest people, don't see our red flags, that's a problem. Because then we are the problem. See where they're coming from, communicate them if you have them and if you notice them, because most of the people can't look into your head, and sometimes your self-defense mechanism that you build up throughout some years, you need to tell people that you have that, and you need to tell people if you need time to think, because they can't look into your head. As I said a few minutes back, you're allowed to walk away from red flags, from people that are red flags to you. You don't need a big fight or an I told you so. You're allowed to walk away quietly and don't have to explain yourself. Distance, reclaim your time, wish them well and move on. You don't have to explain your piece to others, just protect it. And I don't say don't talk to them ever. If they ask, is everything okay, why aren't you talking to me? You can tell them, I feel like our friendship isn't the best for me and I don't feel great when we're together and I want to end this friendship because it gives me nothing. You can do that, but you are also allowed to take yourself out of the situation. Nobody is gonna punish you. And the last thing I want to give to you at my honest advice on the topic of red flags, how to sense red flags and toxic friendships, please, for yourself and yourself only, choose people who feel like safe spaces and not like stress tests. You deserve soft friendships, safe love, real support. And I promise those people do exist. I have a lot of them in my life. But first you have to stop settling for what you've outgrown. Stop settling for those red flag and toxic friendships. You don't need them. You don't need toxic boyfriends. You don't need toxic friends. You don't need toxic family if that is the case for you. I'm very, very sorry, but you outgrow people. You have your own values. And please, do it for yourself. You deserve peace, you deserve love, you deserve safe spaces, and you deserve people who love you, and I can't tell you, you know if it's love or not. And please, 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 put yourself first in these situations and don't think about the others. I am a huge people pleaser myself and I'm working on letting that go, but you need a safe space and you need safe people around you so that you can grow and be the most confident, self-loving version of yourself, and you don't need people who drag you down. You want to have people around you that lift you up, that give you all the love and all the peace and all the support they can, because that's what friendship is for. Friendship is not for punishment. Friendship is for being with people that you can count on, that you love, that are there for you, with whom you can talk about anything and everything. And if this hits home, please take it as your sign to reflect, reset, and remember who you are. Your values can change and the people around you can change, and that's not a problem. You're not too much. You're just finally asking for more, and you're finally asking for what you want, and you're finally dropping the red flags. And that's the end of today's video. I hope I could help you a little bit. If you have any more questions about red flags, how to sense them, toxic friendships, anything in general that is about this, you can comment it down below. You can also just write me an Instagram DM if you don't want to ask it publicly. I can totally understand. I will answer you there. And please stand up for yourself. Make someone's day this week. Be kind. And we see us next week. Bye!
1, 2, 3, funky.
My darling, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.